beautiful mind, you have to know when to stop. It sounds weird, right? We haven't even started anything literally, and we're talking about knowing when to stop. You have to know when to stop. You have to know when to speak. You have to know how to. You don't need to have everything. I believe that no one would eventually have everything. You have to make do with what you have on ground and that. So, what makes your mind great? One, how you think, how you carry yourself, the kind of information you feed your mind. What are you listening to? Who are you looking at? What kind of conversations do you engage in? Are you the kind of person that is speaking ill of your birth country or anywhere particularly? I mean, there's a way we can approach some of these issues that we have currently without, saying things that are not pleasant to hear. Okay, so um, this program was supposed to have a guest speaker, Mojola Ayeni, but he's unavailable at the moment. So there are a couple of things that he had sent with my conversation with him, preparing for this program. And these are a couple of things that I'll just highlight that I highlighted for the purpose of this conversation. Now, according to him, great minds are not afraid to take specific risks. So you can put it in the chat or you can reiterate or post it anywhere. Great minds are not afraid to take specific risks. Now, what do I mean by risk? It's personal. It depends on how you interpret it. Great minds are not afraid to take specific risks. What are those specific? Not taking risks. I mean, I'm not saying great minds are not afraid to jump off a bridge or jump off bungee jumping or those are adventures. Those are different. That's a different conversation completely. But not afraid to take specific risks. For example, I'll use this program as an example. Me starting this Great Minds Rub Minds. I mean, I've been sitting on it for more than 3 years, and it's not like there was no means or opportunity to do it or to start it. It's not like there was no resource available, but sometimes you sit on something, try to make sure you carve it out. You want it to go smoothly, but you have to take that risk. You have to start. So I'm using myself as a case study. I started this, or I've begun this program, this platform where it's going to take, it's going to grow into a very amazing concept and platform that people would use and remember for days to come and all of that. But this is, when you start and then you shake a bit and then you get your grounds and all of that. But yeah, it's going to be amazing. So great minds are not afraid to take, as I said, everyone has potential to be a great mind. What makes you a great mind? How you think. So if you have a personal project, remember I said this topic is going to be finance, it's going to be finance related. People are so afraid to take risks to invest. I mean, what would they? Yes, you may say, okay, fine. I don't even have enough to eat or to wear. I don't have new clothes to wear. I don't have a roof over my head. And you're here talking about investing. Believe you me, if you spend everything you can amass, everything you can get, everything you own or whatsoever, if you spend it to um you spend it on eating, it won't be enough. So what's the point? Even if someone dashes you 2 billion, 2 million right now, it won't be enough because by the time you make your expenses, it won't cover up. You will still need more. So why not just take that risk? Take that risk to invest your funds now. So the risk now comes in you making inquiries, you speaking out to, reaching out to professionals like myself, in the investment space. Not even investments. Even if you want to buy and sell products, like people that take businesses, take that risk. You have to take that risk. There's something that was flying around, was in 2022, that I must have picked up of social media about live, everything you do is a risk. If you don't live, it's risky. If you want to say okay, I don't want to live anymore, it's risky because you don't know what you would have gained if you had lived or if you had taken the right taking a decision. And if you now take the decision, it's also risky because you could fail and you could fail very badly. So everything you do, you being on this conversation, this call right now, is you took a chance. Let me not use risk. You took a chance So to gain some sort of insight, and that if you weren't on it, you could have been doing something else. So everything is always like that. That brings us to number 2 point that Mojola Ayeni, financial analyst, said in our conversation. Like I said, he was not able to be live on call, but I mean, it's a great support to this platform. Great minds can make calculated bets. Now, I'm not saying go and bet on a football match and say, okay, you do the odds, do the statistics and probability of you gaining something. No. Great minds can make calculated bets. I mean, think about, so 2 and 3 are sort of interwoven. Think about the short term, medium term, and long term. You're making calculated bets. Okay, I'm sitting here. How old am I? 21, 29, 35, 48, 10 years old. What do I want to do? Okay, in the short term, I want to make 10,000 naira. How can I make that 10,000 naira? Okay, can I buy and sell eggs? Everybody takes eggs, or everybody, okay, milk, you drink tea. I'll calculate that, okay, I'll make this profit, and then I'll think that, okay, if I enter this market, if I should be able to sell, if I want to sell 10 items, okay, I'll calculate that, okay, I should be able to sell up to half of that quantity I want. Make calculated bets. Think short term, medium term, and people always say this, what's your 2-year plan, what's your 5-year plan? It's not that people are not just saying it because they want to say it. It's real. It's very important, because if you're not thinking short, medium, or long term, you just realize you're just going with the wind, anyhow that takes you. If you check my LinkedIn page, the introductory or warm-up to this platform where I talked about adaptability, you can't just move. I mean, you want to adapt to changing times. 2025 is very much different from 2005 by far. So you want to think about short term. Your short term could be the next 24 hours. Your medium term could be the next week, and your long term could be the February, depending on how. So you now tailor it to yourself. But usually short terms are usually like a short period of time, not up to 5 years. Medium term could be 3 years, between 3 years and 5 years, depending on what you're looking at. If you're thinking of a business, that's a different conversation. Short term, long term. Long term could be 5 years for you. Short term could be 2 months. Medium term could be that. So you tailor it to fit your personal need. Now, according to Mojola Ayini, questions to ask yourself. 1, am I productive? You're a great mind. Like I said, it's about how you think. You have to ask yourself some questions. You have to ask yourself, very important, but this seems very simple and straightforward. Am I productive? I remember a conversation I had with a relative in 2020 COVID era, COVID period, where he said just a very small percentage, very little percentage, are actually pure producers. Let me use that word. Let me paraphrase him. What he was driving at is that a lot of people are consumers. Everybody's consuming something from the next person. Everybody's consuming something. Am I producing? What am I adding? Today now, what have I produced? What have I added? Between 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m., what have I produced? I'm not saying everybody must. You don't have to produce the best thing, or you have to produce everything, but what value? That's why I said this platform is going to be a platform of change and value. What am I adding daily? It's not like too far-fetched. You don't have to. There'll be days that you took more than you gave. Let me use it that way. You took from people, you didn't give as much. Maybe your time. Giving could be time. You can be producing, advice. It could be a production. Someone reaches out to you, or you see on someone's status or something, I'm looking for where I can buy a blouse for an event, and you have somewhere. You may think that, okay, maybe this person is in Lagos, you are in Abuja. That information might not be helpful, but you can reach out to the person and say, oh, hi, I know someone that sells clothes in Lagos, but you are in Abuja. Can I ask the person if the person has an outlet in Abuja? You've added value, you've produced something that day, and that would count in the grand scheme of things. 2, how can I be more productive? So you start by being productive, and then you start from somewhere, and then you now step it up. How can I be more productive? So we've done 1 today. How do I increase what I'm producing? What do I need to do? Okay, as a writer, people write about so many things. Speak English, or as you have a business, you're selling hair or shoes, or you are just as one of my friends from church usually says, he talks for a living. It's true, he actually talks for a living. Like, but what he's selling? He's selling valuable insight through words he speaks. So they call him to post, they call him to tell stories, those kind of things. Then he will now sit down to say, okay, how can I be more productive? Okay, I should reach out to a certain person. I should increase my scope of influence to be more productive. I should increase my network. That's why I say people network. It's network. You can have three persons that okay, you reach out, so you rub minds with great minds. That's why if you really think about it, everybody rubs minds or talks from time to time. But then have that your niche, and then you figure out how to expand. How can you do more than you're doing now? Three, how can I optimize my production? Meaning, how can I take it to the next level to make it super, and then do very, very high and fantastic things. So these are these are some pointers that our dear friend and our great mind, Mojola Ayeni, penned for this platform here. How can I maximize my production? So you reach out to persons that you believe are have what you need. So this is, mind me, this is not being optimistic, because you can't always reach out to someone when you need something. That is wrong on every ground. Even I've been guilty of it, and I've repented. I've changed my way from it. I mean, sometimes you may not really know you're doing so. So if you want to know if you're doing so, you just realize that you don't have like a personal relationship with this person. It's only when it's maybe someone that maybe picks you up from work. How can you only say hello to somebody just because you want to join them for a ride? Come on. I mean, it's not as nice and all that. So maximize your production. What are you producing? What are you making? What are you bringing into existence? If you are unemployed, fine, no problem. What can you do? Or share for Yorubas among us, or as the Nigerian Yorubas will say, handwork. What can you do with your hands? What can you do with your mind? What some people now we've moved from the era of only people that can work with their hands. Now, what are you saying? How are you thinking? What solutions are you providing to your environment? Rake millions. So that brings us to the second half of the second part of this conversation. Great minds rake millions. Rake in dictionary meaning means to earn or receive a large amount of money. So I use this word rake because I mean, technically you say great minds make millions, or great minds can have millions, but I just playing around the English language. Rake millions to earn or receive a large amount of money. So rake millions to earn or receive millions. Now, why didn't I start with thousands or little? And by millions, oh yes, let me break this down. Millions across all currencies here. Because if you really think about it, the minimum standard to say this person is doing well. By well, you can interpret well to your own immediate environment, is you're making a millionaire. Let me use that word, millionaire. How to be a millionaire. Those shows, who wants to be a millionaire, those kind of things. Millions is the mist. You don't hear anybody saying anything in thousand form. It's million is like the average, let me use that word, average standard for income finance. So if you want to say this person is rich, you can't be talking in thousands. Minimum is millions. Then you step up from millions, billions, and all that. So it cuts across in Nigeria, millions of naira. If you're earning tens of millions, hundreds of millions, awesome. In foreign currency, US pounds, making millions of pounds, you're already doing fantastic. So millions is, I use millions because it sets the stage. It's more like the average metric, to say that this person is financially or relatively doing okay. All right, so great minds break millions. They think in higher amounts. So you're a great mind, you're a beautiful mind. You want to have more than you have now. You start from somewhere. From the tiny naira, you make losses. Oh, let me reiterate that you make losses. You have days that are not so pleasant. In fact, great minds. For the purpose of this first session, I didn't want to include case studies. But our next session we'll have case studies, we'll have chats. You guys will be part of the conversation. Everybody's going to talk as much as you can, or if you are able to share your thoughts. It's going to be very, very, all encompassing. But yeah, great minds like in Nigeria that make millionaires and billionaires, they make losses. Just be prepared. If you want to start something and you're not prepared to make a mistake, then that's your first mistake. You must prepare that you will lose. Even people that trade, if you come to research analysts or investment professionals, or corporates, people in corporate finance, they'll tell you, you must be ready, you make some marginal losses, but just that make sure that what you're earning is more than what you're losing. Think in higher amounts. Now, this is not just about millions. I'll say this as I summarize this presentation. Great minds rake millions. Millions could also be in values. There's some things you do that you can't really put a price on it. You can't. You have great minds rake millions. Great minds can rake several millions of persons in their caliber, in their network. They can build and expand to higher networks and things like that. So yes, think in higher amounts, don't think low. Yes, you may start from, you may say, oh, I don't even have anything. Where do I want to start from? Oh my God, I have so many expenses and payments to make. I'm very young, I'm very old, I'm not this. Excuses. Please think in higher amounts. If you're earning 10,000, if you're earning 100,000, if you're earning 600,000, think in higher amount. Think about the next thing, the next higher amount. If you're thinking it, you would be conscious. It will be printed into your subconscious. That's why I said it's about mindset. It will be printed into your subconscious, and then before you know it, you find yourself. It's not magic anyway. You have to take active steps. You find yourself doing things or being moving towards millionaire zone. Let me use that word. Yeah, so think in higher amounts. All right. Your takeaway from this conversation: make the conscious decision to be a great mind. Make the conscious decision to be a great mind. I mean, I would call myself a great mind because of, according to my metrics, great mind, like I said, just how you think. It doesn't mean that people that are not so nice in terms of relationship with others are not great minds. So it just means how do you position your mind? What are you thinking of? And that also doesn't mean that you should, only be focused on your goal. I want to make it. I want to this. Forget about anybody else. That is not a very fantastic thing. Mind you, there's a thin line. There's not a thin line, but there's a difference between you closing your eyes to everybody else or blocking everyone out and actually being focused on your goal, on your dream. Now, to be a great mind, be conscious to be a great mind. Interact, read books. And not suggest in this list, but there are several books. Go to grades, read fantastic books that will help you expand your horizon. Don't just think in your immediate circle. Don't just think that everything is about here. Like I used to tell my siblings, when you interact, you will know the difference now between your family of the Alade-Williams and then the rest of the world, because your family may be able to tell you can put your leg on the chair, but if you go outside, you realize that don't put your leg on the chair because you don't want the chair to get dirty. And if you do so, you'll be called to order that, don't put your leg on that chair. That's just by interacting, and you're better off for it. Okay, so make the conscious decision to be a great mind. Interact with people, join platforms, reach out to people that have improved or you've seen them record real-time growth. And by real-time, let's say it could be anyone. It could be your senior in school. It could be your colleague at work. It could be a random person around the street that you see every day. You used to see the person wear white and blue every day. And then next time you're seeing the person in a jacket. And you can ask the person, my brother, my sister, what's happening? Before you used to wear this, what happened? The person can tell you, somebody dashed me this thing, or I got to a program and then I won this from participating. You've improved your network and you've learned that participating can also come with, or volunteering can also come with its own perks and its own benefits. 2, increase your earning capacity. This is Nigeria and this is the world. Wherever you find yourself, if you like being in Singapore, if you like being North Korea, if you like being Ghana, You have to increase your earning capacity. Whatever you think you are earning, you can always earn more than that. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you for joining in, and I'll take comments or questions now.